here. So I decided that spur of the moment I would answer a question I got on a video that I posted about 7 months ago. And the video is about opening your heart, or keeping an open heart, vulnerability, and also healing in a relationship. So I'll read to you the comment that I got, and then I will respond to it in video form. It says, what would you advise a woman that's a combination of both of these women that you speak of? And I'll explain that. I was married 17 plus years. I've evolved to be a self-sufficient woman and not need a man, but I want one. However, I intimidate most potential suitors because of my lack of need for them. I would think that a guy would welcome a partner not being dependent on them, but the reality seems to be the opposite. So first, let me address the two women that I spoke of in the video. They were both divorced, they both had been cheated on, and that's what caused the divorce. One woman was able to let it go, the other woman was not. And the woman who was able to let it go was able to move on and get into another relationship. The woman who was not able to let it go watched her husband, or ex-husband, move on and get married again, and felt a lot of bitterness and resentment towards him about him moving on. So that's what that was about. Now, let me there's two things going on with this comment, and the first one that I want to address is I've evolved to be a self-sufficient woman and not need a man, but I want one. However, I intimidate most potential suitors because of my lack of need for them. Okay, so this is what we call a values conflict. You value yourself as an independent woman, and that makes you feel good. You derive you derive a sense of self-fulfillment from that. And that's fine, that's absolutely fine. On the other hand, that is repelling men, or at least you perceive it to be repelling men, and you want a man. You don't necessarily need him, but you want him. Okay? So those two things are conflicting, and they're causing a problem in real life. It seems to me, because you're holding on to your sense of self-independence as strongly as you are, that's your stronger value. And if that's your stronger value, again, there's really nothing wrong with that. However, you need to make a decision. Do you want to continue on with that being your stronger value? Or could you accept that at the place you are in life, you're okay with the level of independence that you have, and that no longer has to be your utmost critical value? In other words, are you willing to let go of that just a little bit, just enough to allow yourself to need a man? Is that something that you're willing to do? That's something that you're going to have to reflect on. I can't give you the answer to that. That's entirely up to you. These are values. You decide your own values. The other thing that stands out to me is I would think that a guy would welcome a partner not being dependent on them, but the reality seems to be the opposite. So this is where I would say that you need to have a greater understanding of men and what they want in a relationship, or what they need in a relationship. Men have this very strong inner desire to be needed by the woman that they're with. Now, you may not actually need him to do X, Y, and Z for you. And this is where your compromise with your values conflict comes into play. You may decide consciously to let go of that and allow him to have the perception that he is needed. Does that make sense? In order for you to get your need fulfilled for companionship, you, in return, need to fulfill his need to be needed. Okay? So there's a bit of that give and take, right? You have to be willing to give a little bit of what your value is to get a little bit of what you want. Now, there's nothing inherently wrong with letting go of that value just a little bit so you can have more of what you want. You already have the independence. You already know that you're entirely capable of that. What harm would it do? And this is a serious question. What harm would it do for you to allow him to feel needed? Would that actually do any harm to you and your ability to be as independent as you are? My guess is it wouldn't actually have any detrimental effect. You are still just as independent if you allow him to feel needed as you would be if you didn't. Does that make sense? I hope so. Because I think your answer is right there. I think that's where it lies. Your ability to compromise with yourself, have a little bit of a greater understanding of men, make that tiny little tweak, and attract in what you want. Attract in that companionship, attract in that love, attract in that relationship that you so desire. I'm Matt Adams. Thanks for watching.